Good evening, friends. I'm Dr. Bhagat, MD from All India Institute of Medical Sciences, having a background medical experience of almost 50 years and interacting with various aspects of life. Today I want to discuss with you something about a product called K27. Now, what is this K27? What it does to our body, and how we are being affected because of this? Our country has been having bone mineral deficiency, that is osteomalacia incidence is high, and recurrent tests have shown that despite supplements people are not improving in their bone health. Now this leads to fractures in the old age. People are standing and they have fracture and they fall down. Bones are brittle, bones are weak. For this, a nutritional supplement of 500 milligram calcium was recommended. Still the results are not better, and it was raised to 1 gram, and now it is being raised to 1200 milligram. Now, why is it happening that despite taking so much calcium rich food, we are still having problems with our bones? And besides this, we noticed, at least I noticed, there are certain other problems which are there and they need to be corrected. Why it was happening? Now, why I developed interest in this particular topic? I was attending a seminar and in which about this 500, 1 gram and other figures were being told. At the same time, the importance of fermented food also was being told, particularly of the ragi. And it was shown in the picture that almost whole of the country is having osteomalacia, barring a small area in Karnataka, Kerala, where the staple food is fermented ragi. Now, this raised certain questions in my mind. What is wrong in it and why it is happening? At the same time, there was another incident that I was asked to go coronary angiography and at the same time get coronary score, calcium score done. Now, my question was, suppose the score is high, what will you do? They said, nothing, we'll wait. And if it is very high, then we'll scrap it. Now, both these things did not satisfy me. I read further, then I came across a vitamin called vitamin K27. Now let's go back to vitamin K. Vitamin K was found almost a century back. The person who found it, it was awarded Nobel Prize. It's connected with the bleeding disorders. Vitamin K deficiency leads to bleeding problem, coagulation problem. Now later on in last few years, that is 15, 20 years, another vitamin was analog of this was found, that is K2. And further discoveries led to K7. Now there is K2, K4, K7, and in short they are called MK27. It means the same. The difference between K2 is that it has a very short half-life. That means once you take, it stays in our body for a very short time. Then K7, it stays for a much longer time, almost 5 to 7 days. So K7 becomes a better item to be ingested to do the function which we are going to discuss. So one was bone density, weak bones. The second was mineralization of the coronary arteries. Then further studies which I did was, I found that coronary arteries are also being affected and age-related macular degeneration is also related to the calcium deposit in the arteries. Diabetics are also suffering because of the stiff coronary arteries, reduced blood flow in the various organs in the body, kidney, skin, toes, hairs. And another factor was the teeth being affected because of the calcium, lack of calcium in the teeth. We have been asked to take calcium-rich toothpaste, but it doesn't get deposited in the teeth. So all this was very surprising to me, and then further studies showed me that This vitamin K, MK27, is responsible for controlling this deposition of calcium. Let us understand, we have been given D3. Everybody almost who is deficient in calcium has been given D3, whether low dose, high dose, or injectable. But still, the correction of calcium deposit in the bones has not been taken. Yes, calcium levels have gone up, but the bones remain brittle. So, what does vitamin D3 do? Vitamin D3 helps in absorption of the calcium from the intestine, from the calcium-rich diet which we are taking. But it does not lead to deposition of calcium in the bones. Now, this job is done by MK27. MK27 acts as the traffic policeman of the in the body, guides the calcium where to go by the various processes which it helps. In bones, it has a different process, osteocalcinin. In coronaries, there is a special protein associated with it which it activates. Similarly, in teeth and in other arteries also, same proteins are there. So this is a very important vitamin, and incidentally, the work has not been done too much on this. But fortunately, it has come in the market and it is available over the counter as a nutritional supplement. That means it is under nutriceutical medicines, not pharmaceutical. Now, a little more about how this MK27 was. Two countries in the world. One was Japanese. Their diet is very rich in MK27. They have a particular food item called natto, which they make from fermented soya bean, from the natural yeast which they have, and they cultivate that, and it is part of their staple diet. Just like we take achar in our Indian food and other things, they take natto, and natto is very, very rich in MK27. And Japanese people don't have the problem of brittle bones and coronary calcification to that extent to what we are having, or other countries in the world are having. Second country which is not having this problem is Holland. Holland, they produce a particular type of cheese from a particular type of cows in a process, and it is called Gouda cheese. Gouda cheese is also very rich in MK27, not that rich as natto is. Then other countries like Mediterranean countries, we know the Mediterranean diet is very good. So other countries, Mediterranean countries, also they are not having this problem to the extent that we people are having, though we have so much calcium, we consume so much milk, and we take so many supplements, still our bones are brittle. Now there has to be a solution to this problem. So the focus comes now to MK27. Our diet, traditional Indian diet, was maybe slightly rich in MK27, but over the time, the changes in the diet which have been brought by the industry, by the medical personnel, by the dietitian, by our own fancies, has led to a slightly deficient vitamin MK27, and our bones are suffering because of that. Now, what did we remove? We removed the fermented food from our diet. Fermented leftover food we removed from our diet. We started insisting on fresh roti, fresh atta, fresh dal, everything fresh. Whereas I have a list of fermented items which are being used all over India. I'll give you the list. It is right from Kashmir to Nagaland to Kanyakumari to Rajasthan to Punjab, everywhere to even Madhya Pradesh. So everywhere this fermented food was being used, but in the cities, its consumption has gone down. And this has led to a state where the bones are brittle and calcium is getting deposited. Now, this is something very, very serious, and we need to study more about it. But unfortunately, in our country, there is not a single lab which can measure the levels of MK27. There are labs which can measure a level of vitamin K, but MK27 levels are not being measured at all. I tried ICMR, I tried various government labs. The answer was no, no, no. Now I'm trying to pursue it further at various levels. I hope I succeed, but chances seem dim. Maybe after this article is circulated and you people pursue it further, somebody will come up with this option or some NGO will take up, because testing this is not so easy. It is going to cost something. Now, what do we do now further? While this is being done, we can improve our diet by going back to traditional Indian food. We must take sour curd, chach, and in Himachal, Siddhu, which is fermented rice kept overnight and then steamed and given with vegetables. Then in Himalayas, there is a thing called kainima. In Manipur, there is a horagis. Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, similarly, there are there. Nagaland diet, akhuni, axon akhuni, that is very rich in K27, MK27. Japanese natto. Rest of the Indian food, fermented Indian food, if you think, we are still consuming. And idli, dosa, fermented rice, properly fermented. Dhokla batter, curd, yogurt, but homemade curd. I'm not talking about the commercially produced curd. I'm not sure about them. Most Indian pickles and kanji. I'm from Punjab, Delhi, and kanji is a very special drink for us. But it comes only around holy time. Fermented rice pakhna and fermented food K2 have some K27 content for sure. But how much we don't know. Use of overnight leftover bread has been a tradition in northern India, UP, Haryana, Punjab. रात की बासी रोटी सुबह अचार के साथ या छाछ के साथ या चटनी के साथ हम लोग लेते रहे हैं, क्योंकि हमारा खाना चूल्हे पे बनता था और चूल्हा सुबह सुबह नहीं चलता था. जिन लोगों को सुबह काम पे जाना होता था, रात को उनके घर में रोटी बचा के रख दी जाती थी और वो सुबह खा के काम पे चले जाते थे. I deliberately said this in Hindi because this was a tradition in Indian Hindi belt. So, we understand the importance of MK27. We must go back to traditional Indian diet and let us stop using refined items in our food. Now, the Western influence in our diet, the dates are there. Sugar was refined in 1930, refined cooking oil 1940, 1950, solvent extraction technology 60, 70, hydrogenated dalda were introduced by Dutch company, and pure ghee was discarded. Let me just remind you, MK27 is a fat soluble vitamin and it requires some oil for absorption. Must. So best is to use our own desi ghee or any oil. Otherwise, MK27 will not be, or any fat soluble vitamin will not be occurred. Now, this has become a trend lately that not to use any oil in the food, and people in the, instead of doing exercise, they thought not eating oil will make them more fitter. Severe vegetarians have a higher incidence of osteoporosis. But fermented ragi, left overnight and then consumed in the morning, helps in absorption of calcium. Non-veg diet has fairly rich, especially the organ meats, liver, kidney, they are quite rich in MK27 and they will help. Cheese is available for vegetarians, but it has a slightly not so fresh taste. You may not like it, but I think for your health, you better get used to it. That's those cheese. Amul has introduced another cheese called Gouda cheese, but does it have the good quantity of MK27? I'm not sure. It's not mentioned on that. The focus is to improve your bone health and decrease coronary. Now, let me say a few words about coronary calcification. You see, coronary calcification, because of the excess calcium maybe which we were taking, is damaging our vessels and people get heart attacks because of this. People are getting blind because of the deposition of calcium in the retinal vessels. Kidneys are being damaged and overall fitness is going down. The incidence of these diseases has gone up. We need to think about it. We need to ask authorities to think about it. I am trying to persuade, though it is not my subject. K27 is not my subject, but I am focusing on it. Millets you have to consume. Don't mix the millets, take them independently, but try to ferment them. soak them, remove the oxalates and phytates from them, and then consume them. This will also help in better consumption of calcium in the diet. For diabetics, this is very important. A word of caution: since this is a nutritional food supplement, many gym owners' instructions are giving this to the boys. MK27 has not been shown to have any effect on the muscle building. But you see, when boys are in the habit of showing off muscles, they will take any supplement which is given to them. So they are spending. I would tell those boys, instead of taking yourself, give it to your parents. Above 40, give it to your parents. It will be much better, rather than focusing on the muscle, which is not a documented item. For muscles, you need to take other regular things, good proteins, good exercise, and a good calcium bone supplement. Other Indian food which is very useful is moringa leaves. Moringa leaves one must consume regularly. Fresh moringa leaves or powder moringa leaves, whatever is available to you. It's a very good food supplement, has calcium, magnesium, zinc, manganese, and various amino acids in it. So, surprisingly, a single plant having so many things, almost 70-80 items in their leaves, and so easily grown. So this was about MK27. My request is now the dose. The dose is 40 microgram, 45 microgram is not the dose. You must take above 100 microgram per day. If not, that a large study is being done on 180 microgram per day. But it will take some time for the results of this study to come. And we'll wait for it. But you can start taking MK27. Why wait for it? Because the effect on the bones and eyes is very well known. So you take these things, ask your parents to take, give it to them. Supplements are there. You don't require a prescription for it. And better to take at least 100 microgram per dose. There are supplements of calcium, D3 and MK27, 100 microgram. You can take them twice a day also. Don't take excess of calcium. I don't know whether it's going to help or not, but I feel it's harming our body by too much calcium at the wrong places. The traffic policeman in the body, MK27, is going to guide it to the right place and lead a healthy life. Japanese have a long life. Dutch people have a long life. Mediterranean people have a good, healthy life. So why should we have it? Go back to your traditional Indian food also at the same time and take slightly fermented food or overnight left food if it is not spoiled. So wishing you best of health, Dr. Bhagat. I'll come back to you with more data as and when I have. But do see my channel, Dr. Bhagat Views, which has a lot of information about diet. Diet, various aspects of it, what is good for us, and how diabetics can manage their diet. The channel name is Dr. Bhagat Views. Do subscribe it, share it with your friends, because the information which I've given you is not easily available, but it is very, very useful. So do see it, watch it, note it down, and tell your friends also. Thank you very much.